Hey guys, I want to work on natural log in this video. So when you see ln, it means natural log. So all of them have a formula that you can follow. It's pretty straightforward. It's the formula in the corner in yellow. There is the word or circled. So there's two different versions of the formula. They both mean the exact same thing. So I'm going to start working on this one in front of us. It's natural log of x. That's how you say it. You have the word of right here. It's invisible. And then whatever like inside the parentheses. So this is natural log of x. So that's how you would say this. So we're going to do some bookkeeping. Let's see. So I have u, and then I have this derivative of u. That's what we're going to focus on. U is inside the parenthesis. If you look right here at the formula, you'll see that our attention should be on u. So u is x, the derivative is 1. Anytime you have x, the derivative is 1. So let's set it up. So it looks like there's a 1 in the numerator right here, and then the x is in the bottom, times 1, which is that derivative. So how do I put this together? Well, I'm going to do 1 over x times 1 over 1. Anytime we have a whole number multiplied against a fraction, we move that whole number to the top, the numerator, and then I put an invisible 1 in the bottom. And then I just multiply. So we're going to take the numerators and multiply them together. And we're going to take the denominators and multiply those together. So the answer becomes 1 over x. That's the correct answer. Here's a second formula right here. It's the u's together this time. So let's try that version too. So it looks like the derivative is first, so that's a 1, and then in the bottom is just regular u. So I have 1 over x. This is the exact same as the first answer we came up with because both of these formulas in yellow are the exact same thing. Let's try a different question. So I have natural log of x square, x to the second, or x to the nth degree 2. Right, so let's see. Every time you see something like this, try to put the parentheses there. Sometimes your textbooks or your homework assignments, they won't have those parentheses. If you put them in there, it'll help kind of clean everything up so you can read it better. So how do I do this problem? Well, you always want to take the floaty, dangly numbers on the top, the nth degree, move it to the front. Right? So what it looks like is 2 times ln x. That's what it looks like. That's the setup. I haven't done any math. I'm just rewriting the question that it's asking us. So what do I do now? Well, I'm going to bring down the 2. I'm just going to put the 2 in the front and multiply. ln, we're going to work this out. Let's do our bookkeeping. I have u, and then I have derivative of u. We're just paying attention to the parentheses. So u is x, and then the derivative is 1. So that formula is 1 over u, which is x, times the derivative, which is 1. So we just have one more step, just putting it together. So I'm going to rewrite it so we can kind of see what we're doing. So I have 2 whole numbers. I have that 2 and the 1. So I'm going to put those invisible 1s in the bottom. 2 over 1, 1 over x. Then we're multiplying it by 1 over 1. And that makes, let's see, I have 2 times 1 makes 2. And then I have 1 times x times 1. That makes x. This is the answer. Let's try a couple of more. I have something similar again. Let's see. We'll put the parentheses there. You don't have to. We can leave it out. Let's leave it out this time just to kind of see what it feels like. Okay, so what do? We move him to the front. So it looks like 8 times ln x. Well, I'm going to bring down the 8. Then we do our bookkeeping, right? For right there. All this is going to be u, derivative, and u. I'm using the second formula right here. So what does that make? That makes 1 over x, right? So let's do 1 over x. That's our setup. We're about to solve the problem. Let's rewrite it. I have the 8. with the invisible 1 in the bottom times 1 over x. I multiply the top numbers together. It makes 8. The bottom numbers together, 1 times x, makes x. Right there. Bam, that's the answer. Let's try to do something that has like more stuff inside the parentheses so we can gain a little bit more clarity in a different direction. Right, so let's see. We're doing our bookkeeping, right? I have u, and then I have the derivative. That little stick thing is prime, it's derivative. So I'm just looking inside the parentheses. That's all I'm doing. So what is u? We're just going to rewrite everything inside the parentheses. If it had 17 million different little steps, you're going to handwrite every single one. Okay, so what's the derivative? Well, we know that we bring the 3 to the front, right? X stays the same, and then the nth degree is 2. How did I get that? Well, the formula is n minus 1. The power is 3 minus 1 makes 2. That's how I got the 2. 7 is a constant. Constants are always 0. Even if it was a 6 or a 2 or 4007, it's always going to equal 0. Their derivatives are always 0. So here we have the bookkeeping done. Now let's go ahead and put it together. I have 1 over u times u derivative, which is 1. Let's see. I have x to the third plus 7 in the denominator times 3x to the second. Great. So now all we do is put it together. I put that invisible 1 in the bottom, and I multiply the numerators, the top numbers together. So it becomes 3x to the second over, let's see, the bottom numbers are right here. That's the denominator. X to the third plus 7. And this whole entire thing is the answer. Here's another one. This is a cube root, right? Anytime there's a little 3 in the front, it's a cube root. If there was no 3, we would call that a square root. So I have a cube root right here. So this looks intimidating. When I first started learning natural log, this totally freaked me out, you know, completely intimidated by it. But what we could do is rewrite it. So it's just following kind of like the derivative stuff. Let's see, we're going to do ln, and we're just going to adjust the middle part. We're going to do x 1 over 3. I got the 1 right here and the 3 right here, right? So I just move that to the numerator, I move that to the denominator, and I turn that square root into parentheses. That's all we're doing. This is just the setup. There's no math being done. I simply rewrote it. Now it's kind of looking like the first few problems we did, in the sense that I take the nth degree and I move it to the front, right? So it becomes 1 over 3 times 1 over x. Where did I get that 1 over x? I got it from right here. ln x becomes 1 over x. So if you just see ln x just hanging out by itself, the derivative is always going to be 1 over x. And you can manually understand that by using the formula that I have here in yellow. But this is something that you're going to have to memorize. It's in your interest, it's in your benefit to memorize that particular thing right here. ln x equals 1 over x. So we have that set up, right? And let's go ahead and try to solve it. We're going to multiply the numerators together. It's 1. The denominators, well, that's 3x. This is the answer. Let's see, I want to also show you some trig stuff. Here is a trig problem. This is a bit interesting, right? So we're going to set up our bookkeeping. I have u, and then I have the derivative. So in case you're wondering, when you have sine x, the derivative is cosine x. And if you have cosine x, its derivative is sine x, but there's a negative in the front. A lot of people forget where the negative goes. A good way to help you remember that is it's alphabetical. In this second row, it's alphabetical. C, N, S. C, N stands for negative, and then S is for sine. This is a good way to remember which one gets the negative symbol. I noticed a lot of students will know that sine and cosine are inverses of each other, but which one gets the negative? Sometimes we forget. This is a good way of remembering it. So we have sine right here for u. So the derivative, if we look up here, right, the derivative of sine is cosine. And you always put an x in the front, right? This is just standard writing. You put an x at the end of all of this stuff. So let's go ahead and put it together. We put a 1 at the top, right? And then we have u at the bottom. So that's going to be sine x times derivative, which is cosine x. Let's try to put it together. So I have 1 sine x times cosine x 1. Cosine is considered like a whole number, so we do that invisible 1 in the bottom, right? So that answer is cosine x over sine x. Now this is technically the correct answer, but if you look closely at it, you'll see that cosine is on top, sine is on the bottom. So that means it can also be cot or cotangent x, right? So both of these are the correct answer. Both are appropriate and sufficient. Although cotangent is really more of the appropriate answer because there's an expectation for you to have an understanding of these trig functions. There's another video somewhere on my channel that kind of breaks down all of the different functions and little ways of memorizing them. Okay, so I hope this video helped, guys. Okay, take care. Goodbye.